Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. Today I am talking about one of my favorite high-end products ever. It is the Hourglass Ambient Light Powders. Oh my goodness, they're amazing. They're pricey, and I don't like recommending products that are really pricey unless they're absolutely worth it. So I have to tell you, they're worth it, people. Absolutely worth it. I think I have all of them. I might be missing one or two, I'm not sure, but I have most of them. I wanted to try on a different one every day and film it so I could give you sort of my impression of the shade. You can kind of see it on me, see it on my skin tone, see how it works. Some of them I actually like better than others. Some of them you might love better than others. So I just want to give you an idea of that. So because they are pricey, and I thought this might be helpful for you so you can kind of see which ones you might like and which ones maybe you could skip. So I'm trying to help you out here. Trying to save you some money, but also encourage you to spend money. It all evens out, right? So if you want to see my Hourglass Ambient Light Powder collection and which shades work for me and which ones might work for you, then just keep watching. Okay, so my first Hourglass powder is actually going to come in the Hourglass Ambient Light Edit, which I don't think is still available. I think it was just a holiday thing. I'm just going to go over this shade right here, which is Diffused Light. This has a slight yellow shade to it. The thing about the ambient light powders is they are just very subtle. So I'm just gonna kind of dust it all over. I have already applied a layer of setting powder just because I did a lot of cream contour today and I really needed to set that in with something. So if you can see, it does give my skin a bit of a luminosity, but it's not wowing me. This one probably isn't my favorite. I probably won't purchase a full-size version of this, but I wanted you to be able to see what it looks like. It's very subtle, barely noticeable on the skin, but it does still give you a little bit of a glow. So this was Diffused Light. Okay, so today for Hourglass Ambient Light Powders, I am going with my beloved Ambient Lighting Palette. This is the original palette, not the edit, but the original. This shade that I'm going to use today though is Dim Light, and this is actually also in the edit as well as the palette. It is sort of the shade right here, which is not the bronziest, but it does have a slight bronzy-ish shade to it. I'm not exactly sure. I think I've used this as maybe like a blush topper or something, but I've never actually used this all over the face before. I guess I've always been afraid that this would be too dark for me, but now that I'm putting it on, I am getting a slight hint of like a summer glow. It's not necessarily a bronzed glow, but it definitely is like a baby bronzed glow. For just adding a slight hint of color to the skin, I like it more than I thought I would. You can see. I think I might use this powder more often. Okay, so today's ambient light powder, one of my personal favorites, and unfortunately this powder is actually only found in the ambient light palette, the original, and it is the center shade here, which is Incandescent Light. You can see it's just this like natural luminous effect, very glowy. Beautiful. I think it could be really good on, say, any skin tone. Probably not too dark. It would definitely show up more like a highlighter, I feel like, on someone that had darker skin. But if you're fair to medium, I think it would be an absolutely beautiful, beautiful glowing shade. I feel so glowy with that shade. It's so pretty. So pretty. Okay, so today's ambient light powder is the last one in my palette. This is one I'm a little bit nervous about, so I'm going to kind of go a little gentle with it. This one is actually Radiant Light, which is a bronzy shade, so it's a little bit more going to bronze up the skin. So I'm going to kind of be a little bit more careful where I apply it. It's definitely bronzy, and it's definitely giving my skin a bronzed look. I do feel like the Dim Light was a little bit more natural bronze. I've used this as more like a bronzer topper to give a bronzer a little bit more luminosity. So this isn't really as natural on me, I feel like, as some of the others. I do still like it, and I probably will still use it as a bronze topper, but I probably wouldn't use it all over my face. Maybe if you had a tan, real or fake, one or the other, it might be a little bit more appropriate for you. But again, you'd still get use out of it if you wanted to use it as like a bronzer topper. I still do think that this palette is worth it because I think you can get use out of all the colors, but for different purposes, not all for all over the face. If you get what I'm saying. Okay, today's ambient light powder is Ethereal Glow, which is the first one that I ever purchased. It's the sort of palest, it's the sort of white frosted shade. Probably my favorite, although I use the palette a little bit more. It's almost like the most subtle highlighter ever. Like if you like a white sheen highlighter, this will give you the most subtle. It's not gonna look overly dramatic. It's just gonna give you like that, ooh, she's glowing kind of a look to it. If you have darker skin, may not be the ideal shade for you, especially if you have warmer skin maybe. But if you have like fair, cool toned skin, I think this is just an amazing natural all over glow. Okay, today is the last ambient light powder that I have. I believe that there is one or possibly two shades that I don't have, and this shade is Moodlight. This is, I just don't have anything like this, so I decided to give it a try. It's sort of like a pinky lavender shade, and I've never used this before, so it will be more of a first impression. Pretty glow. My skin already has a little bit of redness to it anyway, and I think that this is just emphasizing that a smidge. I mean, again, getting a very luminous glow. This shade I don't think is great if you necessarily have redness in your skin. I can get a similar effect to this with like the, I think it was the dim light, but it doesn't emphasize the redness. So this would not be my #1 choice for my skin. But again, it is still giving me a very luminous glow, which I love about the ambient light powders. And that was my Hourglass Ambient Light Powder collection. If you own any of these powders and you have an opinion or have a favorite or a not so favorite or anything, I would love to hear your opinion. Please leave them in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and be sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. Summer is here and we are talking bronzers today. Yes, we're going to get that bronzed golden goddess glow. I'm actually a pale gal. I'm super pale right now because I didn't have time to self-tan, but that's beside the point. I decided to go through my entire bronzer collection, which isn't all that extensive, I have to admit. But I did decide to go through my bronzer collection, try on each one, a different one every day, and give sort of a mini review, and that way you guys can kind of see how I like the formula, see how the color looks on me, because I am a fair-skinned, cool-toned girl, and that can make it very difficult to find a good bronzer that doesn't look orange. We don't want orange, girls.